Did you graduate with Austin?
Jeez, we're gonna mute those again. Okay, hopefully that's better.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Talking about age, I still like to sing God Bless America after the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know if you did that, but we did that in school and stuff. So anyway, having said that, entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved. Second it.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion has been made and second to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. The minutes for our previous meeting can be found on pages 1, 2, and 3. And that's from the June 2nd meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to approve the minutes from the June 2nd meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Public input.
One note I would like to mention is progress on the pool funding. We're at $3.2 million fundraised. And then after we have some of that money, or most of that money invested, so it is estimated that we will be at 3.4 million after those CDs reach maturity for the $5 million project goal. So 3.4 of $5 million, conservatively figured.
Okay. And I think there'll be more information or information being out there to how to contribute to that fund.
Han County Health, Wellness, and Community Foundation is taking care of the donations.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, hearing none, new business is policy 7.10, personal emergency leave. And that's found on pages 4 and 5. Basically, what stemmed from this, and the committee met, I think the personnel committee met to discuss the personal emergency leave that we have, but also the discussion to implement a bereavement leave. If we have a personal emergency, and that can be a death of an immediate family, in those situations, they would have to take either vacation or sick day. And then it also outlined the immediate family. A bereavement, basically, they would get a 3 working days per incident. And the proposal that would be administered by the department head and the mayor. So I'll let one of the committee meetings maybe speak a little bit more to that, and it would be implementing a new line in the
Well, basically, it's pretty much the same that's here, except we eliminated aunts and uncles from the immediate family. Everything else pretty much stayed the same.
That was the discussion to eliminate them. I think one of the things that we're talking about age, I think over the years, we understand the dynamics of the family. Unfortunately, has changed a little bit. But we also still want to be, sympathetic towards the family members with regard to the death of someone in their family, and just provide another means for them to bereave a passing, but yet not take it out. You have to be assessed a vacation day or a personal day.
So for those that are listening, or whoever hasn't been part of the committee, we didn't previously have a bereavement leave in place for immediate family, such as parents or children. And this was just going to add a bereavement leave to our employee benefits for those immediate family members. We pulled some from sample employer leave policies, and so we worked through it and crossed some people out that didn't think it needed to be in there, but just want to discuss adding this policy to the employment package. So that's what's on the table, is talking about this. This was not in here before.
And I know we had the bereavement leave policy where I worked before, and it was so nice if you had to take and be working on getting your loved one's funeral put together and all that stuff, that you didn't have to worry about, your leave and all that you were going to lose and it helps you spend the time that you need to spend
Yeah.
to get that done. So we just thought that this would be a good thing for our employees. It's good for morale and all that, so.
So for the case of writing up the policy manual, do we revise 7.10 personal emergency leave to not include death in the family? Take that out and implement a separate bereavement leave policy?
That's what I was wondering, do we have like number 711 after that?
It is, there is. We would have to just renumber.
Okay.
Or go 17-10A, where it's
Yeah,
still
you
as
could
far as
do.
Yeah.
leave regarding death, but
Either that, or we could even do put personal emergency leave is 17-10A, or
Okay.
7-10A, and then have the bereavement one.
Yeah.
7-10B, or 7.10.
To go piggyback off what you're saying, keep 7.10 personal emergency leave, but just eliminate that 5-line paragraph underneath it, and then go emergency illness or scheduled surgery in the immediate family, and just go from that point on.
Yeah, you
Okay?
just have an A and a B, because you want to keep them separate. They're two
Yes.
different issues.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
Absolutely.
does anybody have any discussion on the bereavement leave policy itself?
So just
Besides
to
putting it in.
clarify, it is 3 working days per incident,
Per
event.
Yeah.
I think that's appropriate.
Okay,
It
and
did come
no
up
cap.
about, one question that come up was, do you put a cap on it per year? I made the comment of, if someone is having to use this this is very immediate family. If someone's having to use this more than once a year, they're already having a bad year to begin with.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the faith you have is the fact that it will be utilized as intended, and I don't, and some, the misfortune some years that people may have, and then with regard to that. Yeah, so it is per incident. I do know the school had this implemented, and I've only had to use one day because of my half-day time position, just working mornings. But it was nice if you needed that one extra day or
Right.
so. And we had a situation prior to any of us getting on the council that we did have an employee lose a parent or father on a Tuesday and had to dip into her vacation and sick day and you know, did not, I mean, she grieved through the process, but it was, you know,
Yeah.
anyway, this will just help out in those situations. Okay?
I'd make a motion that we add a bereavement leave policy to the employee policy in addition to the personal emergency leave.
Okay.
That's
I'll
already in
second it.
place.
Discussion? I'm going to read through the bereavement, you know, so people are aware of what we're talking. This is what we'll add to it. Employees may obtain bereavement working leave upon the death of a family member. This leave is consistent upon obtain working bereavement leave upon the death of a family member. This leave is to consist of 3 working days per incident and to be administered by the mayor and department head. This leave is not subject to sick leave. Attendance at funerals other than families would come under the realm of a personal leave. Families include parents of both spouses, children, or child including miscarriages, stepchildren, step-parents, children, spouses, siblings, sibling spouses of both, grandparents of both, and grandchildren. It should be grandchildren of both. Okay, so
And that's up to 3 days.
up to 3 days per
Yep.
incident.
Okay.
Okay,
Do
we
you
have a
also
motion.
want to include in that verbiage the no cap, just for clarification?
Okay, we can put, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. And I think that the.
And it's
I-
in here per incident already.
Yeah,
Per incident with no
Yeah.
cap.
No cap,
Okay.
no, because you could lose a parent and a child in the same year or something, and
but it also comes back per incident and to be administered by the department head and mayor, so.
yeah.
But hopefully, you know, I think it'd be carried out as intended. Okay? Any other questions? Now, this includes in-laws with this too as well? Am I,
It says that.
Spouses
okay?
of both.
All right. All right. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table to add a bereavement to amend our personal emergency leave 7.10 by striking the paragraph that deals with the death in the immediate family and add the bereavement leave policy as was just read.
I don't know if we want to take that out, though, because this is in addition to that. So you can still use personal
still use
emergency
it?
leave.
But that wasn't a part of your motion anyway, but that was,
Yeah, my motion is not to take that out, because if we do that, then we're taking away their personal emergency leave, which
All right.
we're allowing them to use their sick days however they want to,
It may go longer.
We're
in
just-
excess of
We're just
this.
supplementing
Yeah.
the personal
okay,
emergency.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification then.
Yeah, my motion personally.
Okay.
That I want voted on is not to take away anything, it's just to add.
Okay,
The
add
bereavement
to it.
leave.
All right. Clarification noted. All right, very good.
Okay.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second on the table. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote on the adding to the bereavement policy to the personal handbook. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, new business number 2 is the Article 2 weeds, as far as violations are concerned. You know, we have some instances in town, and one got to be where if I'd have walked out there, it'd have been up over my knees. And since then, it has been mowed. Do we need something in place that we can expedite the process of handling the weeds without having to go through the code enforcer, because by the time the code enforcer comes around, goes through that, it could be even more of an issue.
Yeah, because the code enforcer comes once a quarter. Well, that's, 2 quarters cover the whole summer. So it seems like we could discuss, because what we have now is not working, obviously. You can look around town and see that. We had talked about grass last summer,
I feel like we talk about it
every
every
summer.
meeting, every summer.
Yep, so I didn't know if we wanted to implement something different to actually get something better as far as a pre-written letter that we send out with the bill, maybe, of violators that, hey, you have X amount of time to get your lawn under control, otherwise we're gonna do it. I don't know if that's legal. I just didn't know, whatever we got in place obviously is not, it'll never be perfect, but I was just discussion on it, I guess.
You might have more of a leg to stand on if you talk noxious weeds. Then you could use the county weed person to identify, because there's already laws on the books about that.
Is dandelion a noxious weed?
I don't think dandelion is, but certainly Canadian thistle, and there's God's plenty of them in this town.
Well, we have an ordinance already that says you can't have grass exceeding X amount of
Yeah.
inches, and there's 15 places in town that are twice that tall.
And one of them seems to be reoccurring, and I know he spent all day and still didn't get it down, and it was high enough where you could might as well take a mower in and
Still
stale
ain't
it.
all down.
Yeah. And I will also add this, sometimes, the city workers, can do, I think sometimes we lean on them, I shouldn't say lean on them, but there might be an expectation, well, they can just go over and do it, but they're in the heart of their work season right now, and they are busy. And, to free up one person to go and do that, that's asking, in some cases quite a bit, because they've been pretty much on the roads. Is it something that the council might want to consider, just maybe contracting with somebody who does mow lawns, that is willing to do that, but then you're putting them in a situation where
I understand the reasoning behind why we had the city mow it, because our cost was the labor of the employee, so it kept our costs down, whereas it would be expedited by contracting out to someone to get abatement of the lawn process is what they charge us. And if someone's not mowing their yard, there's nothing to say that they're gonna pay the violation or the cost of getting there,
yeah.
So I mean, it's,
Well,
I just think that there's something better than what we have. I do not have an answer. I just more or less, we don't need to spend an hour on it. I just don't know
No.
if anybody else had ideas.
Yeah.
Or we table it for next time if everybody
Okay.
thinks on it.
yeah.
I think either have somebody from the city mow it, if that's a possibility. If not, we should have a lawn contractor
As a
on the
plan,
line for it that we can call, and they'll go do it that day or the next day, and that's the end of it. I
Okay.
mean, you give these people warnings over and over and over, and it doesn't make any difference, so.
Yeah.
Is that, lawn service gonna have to make sure they got liability, or is that gonna be on the city? You know how that goes, oh, they ran over my garden hose.
Yeah. Or put a rock through a window.
Yeah.
you're not gonna get very many lawn companies that are gonna take on that liability
No,
unless.
I know, so that's just something to make sure that,
Yeah.
are we gonna cover the liability?
We'd have to discuss it, but I think
Okay.
it would almost have to be
Yeah.
one city, but in a perfect world, people mow their own lawn.
Yeah.
But that, we obviously don't live in a perfect world.
Well, I know the one I'm thinking of is that was high, and as a neighbor with you know, you just don't know what's lurking in the grass. You don't know what may be taking up residence, and if you have a son or daughter outside playing, you just don't know those things and stuff, so.
So the only other question I have is notification, a different notification avenue to the homeowner. I'm not saying we have to certify mail them and hand them to them, but I mean, if we go through our effort of putting it in their mailbox with a X amount of time on it,
Yeah.
because right now, if we go through the process of, it can go from 8 inches tall to 2 foot tall,
Yeah,
going through the whole process, and that's a whole different thing. I'm trying to get that abated, but
Okay,
do we just stick something in the mail to them, general mail?
put it on their doorknob.
I think
You
so.
know,
That's
Put
it.
something on their door, because otherwise, if you run it through the mail, then you're
Yeah.
looking at another half a week before you can do anything. And
Yeah,
during the growing season, you got to be able to attack it quicker than that, I would think.
okay. Well, that's something we can, you know, kind of look into with regard to it, but we do want the community to be aware of that we are, you know, trying to remedy the situation that we're unfortunately faced with sometimes with not taking care of the lawn, so. Anyway, any other discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, let's go on new business number 3, director position of the Mid-Dakota rural water system. We need to appoint a council member as a city voting representative, and I think that vote comes up in what, September or October? September? October. Okay,
September, I believe.
yeah.
yeah.
That's on page 6, the letter for the request.
Dale was our voting member, correct, before, correct?
I think so.
Make a nomination, Dale Hargens being our voting member.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to have Dale Hargens as the voting member for the city for the direct position of the rural water system, all in Mid-Dakota rural water system. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 4 is a building permit, Randy Foreman, a shed. Visit
You
with,
want me to go get it?
yeah.
I own property next door, I'd like to know where.
Visited with Dustin, and Patrick was up here this morning and visited with Dustin. He wasn't going to be able to be here tonight, but
I could let him use mine. I don't think anybody uses it anyway.
Dustin said he didn't have any objections towards it.
Okay.
I have to empty it.
You don't have a lot of room there.
No, it
was-
doesn't.
I think it's going to be where the garden was. Is that what he said?
I'd have to look at the map, I didn't see
Yeah.
the,
Well, his garden's about 4 feet from my place. We're gonna move one.
He's moving one in.
so we just gotta make sure that the setbacks is the same.
You going to make him show it to you before we, you going to trust him, or do you want?
Yeah, he's the one that's got to deal with it. He can, he's okay with it, I'm okay.
16 by 12. How close can you be to the property line?
It's all on the,
6 feet
6 feet, but that,
that's a permanent structure.
6 feet from the
from the
sides,
front, it's
5 feet
20.
from the back.
Yeah. That
But
might-
that's a corner
that-
lot, so I
but
don't
that's also
know.
your overhang, not just your
Yeah,
building.
Like on the side towards the rental house, it would be 6 feet. He could have it from the property
I don't
line.
think there's room for 24 feet there.
Well, it's not 24, it's 6.
Yeah, but if you
Yeah,
got the 6 feet plus the building,
right.
it is 20.
But it's 12. The way I understand it.
Is it
The
east of the
16 is
house?
coming towards my
I
house,
saw it, I see it.
Is it east of the house?
south.
North. Or south of the
South of
red.
our house,
Keep
there's
off on
not a
that.
lot of room there.
Yeah,
It's not scale.
that'd be his
Oh,
garden,
no, never mind.
Yeah, it's where the garden
You
is.
got your
Can you pull
Google
the map up?
map?
but it's gotta be at least 6 feet
I wish
from,
we knew how many feet this was.
property line.
From the driveway to the lot line, is what I don't know.
What did he say with regard to that, Patrick? Because he did indicate something with, about the
Can I see that, Dale?
size of that this morning.
there isn't much room there.
There's not a lot of room north that driveway.
How big is that garage again? Or the shed?
Mm-hmm.
How big is it?
16 by 12, 12 wide, 16 long. And it sits north to south.
It sits north to south? Oh my. I would have thought the longer would be east to west.
So right here?
I can't even see that shed. There must be a lot of
There's
trees.
gotta be a street right next to him, south too.
Yeah.
That's not the right picture.
Yeah, it is.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it.
So he's gonna put it up against the driveway to the north of the,
There where the red car is there.
and it was gonna be in line with the front of his house addition,
Okay.
according to his map. And 16 feet going that way. We'll be pushing it.
What's where the garden is, the garden right now.
What
That's the
part would
driveway,
that
the
be in?
garden's right here. I don't know how much room there is between, not a lot.
Do you know where your property line is?
I don't. I wonder,
Well, I think if there was a question about it, I'd think a person
I
should have
think
it
we should put
surveyed or
it off till
something.
next meeting
Okay,
until we
all right.
take a look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. Dustin said he couldn't be here tonight for,
Okay.
to address it. I know he, I
Yeah.
think he kind of
I'll
signed
just
off
look
on it,
over
but
and measure that,
if you
see.
wanna,
I mean, I don't wanna get in somebody's way, but I don't want too close to that house either.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Does it show, this is a broad property line, but it's showing that the property line is just off that house, your house.
Well, there's not a lot of room. But if he's within how many feet of the,
He's gotta be 6
Right.
feet off of it.
We'll get to the property line questions answered. And I understand this is not exact, but it's closer, gives a guy an idea.
Well, it's not that long till the next meeting.
Okay.
We can
You
table
wanna,
that.
is that a motion, Dale?
yes,
Okay. Motion on the table to defer the building permit to our next council meeting?
Yep.
Second? Okay. Motion is made and second to defer the building permit to the next council meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, entertain a motion to go in executive session for let's, want to approve the bills first?
let's do it.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
I had a question on them.
all right.
On what law firm is the attorney that the city has on retainer? What law firm is,
Ryder Rogers,
that is who she's with? That's what that one is for then?
yes.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we had a motion.
I'll
and a
second it.
Right? Okay, we have a motion. Any other questions? Discussion? Okay, motion made and second to approve the bills as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Now, I'd entertain a motion to go into executive session for personnel pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2,
So moved.
1. Okay,
Second it.
discussion? Hearing, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're in executive session.
7:28 PM.